in Beijing.
Excellencies.
Well, joining us now is Ademola Oshodi, who is the Senior Special Advisor to the President on Foreign Affairs. We'll be talking about the China partnership, plus the Benin and coastal neighbor Togo insecurity issues. Good to have you join us in the studio, Ademola. Can you tell us what's your assessment of the Nigeria-China partnership in the Tinubu administration? Also, help us break down the $2 billion currency swap agreement to boost trade and development.
Thank you. Actually, it's a senior special assistant, not an advisor.
That's fine.
The relationship between China and Nigeria has really grown with this Bola Tinubu administration. It's now a comprehensive strategic partnership, which is, it says a lot. It says it fits in all facets of the Nigerian economy, even cultural. It's now dealing with swaps of Chinese currency of over 15 billion yuan, which is about $2 billion. It deals a lot with China's, ensuring that its foreign aid and its infrastructural, projects focused a lot on Nigeria. It sees Nigeria as a very able partner, and the relationship has gone bounds under this administration. It's very mutual. That's very important to note, and it ensures that both parties get the best out of it.
Okay, so I'm sure you've heard about the Grimaldi Group that has launched the first ever direct shipping service from China to Lagos, which aims to address challenges faced by Nigerian importers, including delays caused by, transshipment and high logistics costs. Are there modalities in place to ensure continuity and reduce costs? What do you make of this? Does this not have, two side arrows to this particular? It's great news, but are they consequences that we need to already put in place just before the operation begins?
Well, it is a business decision. It is a business decision between that company and the Nigerian government and the Nigerian business community. It shows the expansive nature of the economic relationship between China and Nigeria. It shows that they don't need any intermediary, any transit. They can just be a direct route between China, I think it's Shanghai and Lagos. And it helps business. It helps the flow of goods, saves time, saves money. It's a win-win for both countries, and it shows that trade between both countries expand. So it is something that we hope other countries around the world, other companies, I should say, not countries, will emulate that and have this direct relationship, business, ports, maritime relationship with the Nigerian economy.
But yes. Do you see, it's a good thing that you have, imagine that you have any economy in the world having to ship directly to Nigeria. That's great news. But first of all, because I know before you start off a plan, especially that you mentioned is a business plan, you need to make sure that there are modalities in place. You need to make sure that if there are, issues with this and that, because we've had such issues before, direct importation, do we have some things in place or measures put in place to ensure that some of those loopholes will be tackled once that operation begins?
I hope so. It's a business project. It deals with a commercial entity trading with Nigeria and ensuring trade, which is growing within Nigeria and China, is further expanded upon. I hope the necessary government agencies, the Nigerian Port Authorities, the Blue Economy Ministry have things in place, and I believe they would be for them to make such a bold announcement, especially something that will in many ways enhance the business relationship between both countries.
Yeah. So now let's talk about, the partnership. It's a great thing, to have a partnership with other countries, especially for China. China is Nigeria's biggest donor, isn't it? So what is China getting in return? That's the most question on the hearts of many Nigerians. What are they getting in return for? You hear billions of, dollars being given to the country. What are they getting in return?
China is the biggest bilateral loan creditor to Nigeria. They're not the biggest. We have World Bank, we have IMF,
Sure.
we have European Union. A lot of them have given us more credit, I should say. But China is getting a lot. They're getting a business, they're getting an opportunity to make money, commerce. But more importantly, it expands China's strategic route or reach around the world against Western interests. Because you notice that the Americans, especially with the American governments, are really coming hard on China and China's ventures in the Southeast Asia and the Southeast Asian Sea with Taiwan. China, they see China as a rival. They see China as a basically something that would strategically affect their homogeny in the world. So China needs to have new friends. They need to have new business opportunities. Nigeria is a massive market. It's a big economy, and it's growing. So China wants to tap into it and ensure that they have a good relationship with Nigeria business, which in many ways offsets whatever Western powers, especially the Americans or the Europeans or even the Japanese, would put against them, any hindrances. So it's important for China to ensure that as a global power, which it is, it expands its business opportunities. So it's not just ensuring that they want to give credit to Nigeria and everything, but they want to make sure that they're not in any way restricted to Western sanctions or Western restrictions generally, especially from the American-led, Western, Brentwood economy.
So basically it's a competitive thing and it's more like a world power thing, because you said
Yes.
One of the leading economies in the world. Now let's talk about, some of the issues that have been raised over time with regards to, Nigerians, getting to have loans. And I do agree with you. You talked about World Bank and other lenders that have given us, money, but we're talking about countries now.
Yes.
I wasn't specific about, we have the World Bank and others that give us money that you mentioned. This is particularly China being one of the countries that have given us,
Yes.
lots and lots of billions of dollars. Now, what do we use these monies for? I understand that we use it for infrastructure to grow the economy and all of that, but we talk about the rail and all of that, but do we have maintenance? We have had, I can give you instances of, the manholes in Abuja that vandals usually, it's become a thing, even though the FCT minister's attention has been drawn to that. What do we have in place in the long run to maintain some of these monies that we get? Are we using this money to also service debts? I don't know if you get where I'm coming from.
We are using this money to grow, to build our infrastructure. It's very important that it's stress the fact that it's a mutually beneficial thing. China is not just doing it for purely altruistic reasons. They're doing it for an economic advantage and also for a political, that ensuring that they go beyond the Western economies. They deal more with emerging developing economies like Nigeria. Regarding the maintenance of this, I want to believe with the new administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there's this new maintenance culture. And when usually many countries give it this infrastructure, there's usually this part of it that ensures that it's maintained. They have expertise that train Nigerians. They have a few years to maintain this thing for you. So while you're training Nigerians and they're putting things in place, so you can now take over after a certain period of time. It could be 6 months, it could be 5 years. So that's culture is there, and it's quite consistent with this government. You mentioned BRICS earlier, and I wanted to mention the fact that it's congratulations to Nigeria.
I wanted to come to that, talking about the Brazil,
Yes.
cooperation, so to speak. Now we are joining the BRICS. I wanted to have your assessment on that and what you think about, our relationship with other countries. Like we say, in governance, it's a power play, it's a world play. You know what's going on within U.S. and China and all of that, and the incoming administration of Trump. But BRICS, a lot of Nigerians move towards the West.
Yes.
How do you think we're going to be accepted in these other countries now that we're finally finalizing, going into the BRICS?
Well, it's no country in the world can ignore Nigeria. It's absolutely no. It's the largest, biggest population, black population in the world. It's got the it's tremendous potential for business, cultural exports, soft power, music, movies.
Right.
Even Nigeria and diaspora, they're everywhere. We are making strides around the world. So that's a given. But regarding BRICS, it's a great opportunity for collaboration and cooperation with developing countries, global South countries. Nigeria has gotten an inroad there. We're a partner. We're not a full member, so we can't vote, but it's a step towards that. Nigeria, in BRICS, there's this mutual respect. There's this equality in their motives, in their strives, and it's this urge to develop, because they're emerging economies. There are things like places like Brazil, there's China, there's India,
Russia.
there's Russia, there's and of course there's South Africa. And apart from the other multiple Latin America and Asia countries like Indonesia that has joined. So it's important Nigeria is on the table. And as I always say, if you're not on the table, you're on the menu. They will eat you alive. They'll make decisions without you being there, especially on climate change. The world is becoming more and more closely defined, the West and the developing country. It's important Nigeria partners with either the developing country and the West to ensure our survival and our success.
Now let's bring it down. Let's bring it down to Africa now. Let's talk about Benin, and the coastal neighbor Togo has been suffering attacks in recent years as groups linked to Islamic State and Al Qaeda expanded their presence beyond West Africa's central Sahel region to the north. How has Nigeria handled the terrorist group? I wonder what your take is on this, especially that Tinubu, the president, is the chairman of the ECOWAS.
Yes.
I mean, they are beginning to expand. You see how the story, the tale, of this militant extremism, started, and then is beginning to expand. How are we handling this as, being a part of West Africa?
I say we're handling it very delicately. We don't know what to, we don't want the countries that have left or want to leave ECOWAS to leave. These are the main countries in the Sahel region, the Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, we don't want them leaving. So at the same time, they're facing major security challenges. Without national security, there's really no country. You can't grow, you can't feed, you can't do anything. So they're facing existential challenges that relates to their existence in many ways. I mean, the rebels were getting close to Bamako a while back. So it's important Nigeria relates them delicately. We don't want them leaving ECOWAS. We want to ensure our security, which is in many ways intertwined with theirs. We all inextricably related. With everything that happens in West Africa relates to us. Climate change has brought a lot of people coming down, people that have lost their way of living, so they're coming down and they're finding ways to survive. They're carrying arms because there's nothing else to do. Farmers can't farm anymore, the land is dry. So they're now even encroaching and threatening the security of Benin Republic and Togo. This is very, very bad for everybody. Nigeria needs to ensure that we work with international partners, especially the European powers and also the friends of this, I would say, rebellious West African countries, and ensure that they understand that whatever happens there affects us, and we need to be together, because it is without them being secure, it affects our security.
True. True.
And we need to ensure that Nigeria's leadership of Bola Ahmed Tinubu would ensure the fact that it's not just telling them off. It was actually working with them what their concerns are and ensuring that, look, let's work together. This is affecting you, it's affecting others. And we need to be together to ensure the survival and prosperity of West Africa.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's intertwined because, we share borders, so it's very important.
Yes.
But I wish we could continue. Ademola Oshodi, I really appreciate you for coming through. He is the Senior Special Assistant, you said, to the President on Foreign Affairs.